Build compelling real-time apps quickly and scale them globally with the PubNub real-time network. Only PubNub delivers the core building blocks needed for any real-time application. Find out for yourself by signing up for free today. Visit pubnub.com. Welcome to This Week in Location-Based Marketing, the most trusted podcast dedicated to the new business of location. It is time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing. This is episode number 149. We're recording this live Friday, September 27th, 2013. My name is Rob Woodbridge from Untether.tv, located in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. With me, from a familiar place.
Yes.
Would you call that home, Asif?
This is home. This is Toronto. It's Asif Khan from the Location-Based Marketing Association, and man, am I glad to be home. It's been a crazy week, like 4 cities in 4 days, all over the place. But yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm home and ready to bang out another good show.
You know, not just 4 cities and 4 places or 4 days. It's like, I mean, I can go from like Ottawa to Renfrew to Carleton Place in 4 days. But I mean, you're talking about like Ottawa, San Francisco, Banff,
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Oh my God. Yeah. So kudos to that, I think.
Yeah.
Crazy guy. Well, we've got
to. I'm done. I'm not doing that again.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that again. It sounded like fun, though. So we'll eventually get a wrap of that. I know you're exhausted, but
it's fun being there.
It's fun being there?
Well, it's fun meeting new people and connecting, but it's not fun, being crazy travel.
Well, that's why we need like a teleportation. We need space travel or something like that.
I'm all about that. Or Virgin, like where they want to like fly us into just the suborbit and come back down. I can take that. Like I can take a 2-hour flight. To Shanghai. That works for me.
Because it's like 40 minutes to San Francisco. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God. Yeah, the risks are high. Well, you got a jam show. I know you want to talk about an event or 2 events that are coming up, one in New York City, one in Toronto. Why don't we touch there? And then we're just going to cruise through the 6 stories, Mobile Minute, App of the Week, a great guest. So start with the events that are coming up, Asif.
Yeah, so these are just this coming week here. So on October the 2nd, that's Wednesday, in New York City in the evening. It's like 6 to 9-ish. And AT&T AdWorks is hosting it at their wonderful lab facility in New York, near Times Square. And so we're going to be there, and we're talking about kind of retail and fashion and location and how all things come together. So we've got like speakers from Place IQ, from Cha-Cha, from Ralph Lauren, from the New York Jets on the panel, so it's going to be kind of cool. So if you're a Jets fan alone, you should come out, right? I think.
I was going to say the Jets for fashion. Is that what they're there for?
Well, merchandising, right? So so that's New York, Wednesday, October the 2nd, in the evening. It's all on the site. You can check it out there. And then the following evening, back in Toronto, because we're having our Toronto chapter event, and this one's a little different. This one is about looking at that kind of mashup between digital signage, NFC, and mobile, and how all those things are coming together. So, some of those companies that we've had on here, like recently, like TapTrack and the Weston Expressions guys with the link hits, and some of that kind of stuff will be part of that discussion. So it'll be an interesting evening as well, and that's being held at Edelman Ad Agency in Toronto.
What's the date again? So, make sure they know the date.
That's the 3rd.
Okay.
That's October the 3rd.
Yes, October 3. So if you can make it out to that, please do. I know for those folks that are listening in New York City, you should definitely go to this event. Take fashion advice from a guy wearing a Toronto Blue Jays shirt and me wearing a plaid shirt on screen. Hey!
It's the final weekend of the season right here.
You might as well say it's the final weekend of baseball in Toronto.
That is true. We are out, but we can play spoiler right now and prevent the Tampa Bay Rays from making it.
Just like my Yankees did over the weekend.
Yeah.
They bowed down to the mighty Tampa Bay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in honor of that final series, for the Jays this weekend, I'm wearing the shirt.
I can't even think about it. I'm disgusted by the Yankees right now. Totally. We're in the same boat. I mean, it doesn't matter if you finish last.
This season, they were too old. Ours just didn't perform. Yours are just too old.
Yes.
So
underperforming or old age. I don't know which is
worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least, for the old guys, there's Viagra. So maybe they can, for the underperformers, you're just underperforming. I don't know where we're going here. All right.
Let's get rolling.
Yeah, let's jump right into this. Let's talk about this app. I have a video here I'm going to roll right now. This is your selection for the week. It's something called StickNFind. Let's watch the video, and then I want to hear what you like about this, what you don't like about this. StickNFind, folks.
use stuff all the time. So we thought, why not design an ultra-small, Bluetooth-connected sticker that you can stick on any device, person, or animal so that you can easily find them. So we came up with StickNFind. StickNFind is an ultra-small sticker with built-in Bluetooth low energy, with a range of 100 feet, about the size of a US quarter, and with a battery life that lasts about a year. The StickNFind can be paged, producing both sound and light, helping you find things easily, even in the dark. You can stick it anywhere, like your TV remote control, for instance, so you can always find it when it gets lost. You can stick it on your keys, your dog or cat's collar, or you can even stick it on your kids' shoes or backpacks to monitor where they are in a store or on a playground. We made an amazing app for StickNFind with tons of features. The first feature is a radar screen that will display all your devices in a familiar radar-like screen. Now, since we base the measurement on signal strength, we don't actually know what the direction is to look, but we report the approximate distance of the StickNFind to your phone as you walk around, making it easy to locate. You just start walking in any direction, and you'll see if the StickNFind gets closer or farther away. You can also tap the icon representing the sticker on the radar screen and command it to buzz, flash the lights, or do both. Then we have the virtual leash feature. This allows you to create a virtual leash on a sticker so that if that sticker moves farther away than the approximate distance selected from your phone, you'll receive an alert on the phone. You can even select different types of alarms for different stickers. We also made the Find It feature. Say you're looking for a missing sticker that your phone can't find since it's not in range. Once that sticker does come into range, your phone will alert you. You could stick a StickNFind on your luggage. When all the suitcases start coming off of the conveyor belt, you can sit down and wait. Once your suitcase is within range, your phone will alert you. You can get up and take your luggage.
That was StickNFind. Asif, app of the week. Why'd you choose this one?
Well, I just thought it was kind of quirky and cool. The idea. I mean, these guys have been in the sticker business for a while, and so now they've launched this kind of mobile app that can kind of complement that, where you can basically tag anything, and your keys, your dog, your whatever you want,
Lipstick,
and through the mobile app and using location-based services, we can track these things. So very simple, very the utility of that is there. And you can pull up a map and see where your stuff is on a map, which is interesting. And the other thing that I thought was kind of cool with this is that it's like multilingual. Like it supports like every language you can think of, apparently, like English, Dutch, German, Hebrew, Japanese, everything. I mean, like this is like so it's it's not limited to English only applications. So you can do this in whatever language you want. So kind of cool.
It's pretty nifty use of location, and certainly this. There are a lot of companies that I've seen that are doing this, but it's always the interface and how effective it is. And the moment you think you lose your keys, and this application helps you find your keys with the sticker and the app combination, you are
find your kid, whatever. Yeah.
So they're $25 each. If you want to stick them, they're $49 for two of them, and you can find them at StickNFind. That's StickNFind.com.
Awesome.
Very cool. All right, I got a mobile minute. Chuck, Martin, and I sat down last week to talk about photo search replacing text search. This is huge when it comes to retail, simply because when you start to think about everybody who is using retail locations as their shopping catalog, now they're going and taking photos of products and not just even going to the web, but going somewhere else to find this product. So take a look at what Chuck talks about when it comes to photo search replacing text search. Welcome back to another episode of A Mobile Minute. In a perfect example of how fluid the decision-making process is in how we find things to buy, now there's complaints against text shopping.
Well, we've talked in the past about how luxury buyers are moving to mobile in a really big way in terms of the research, but they're going to the physical store. But there's now a new survey out of the UK by Redshift Research for a company called WeSee. And they found that 3/4 of UK consumers consider traditional text-based search as not good enough, basically, for helping them find things online. And basically, kind of a new twist on showrooming, 40% of consumers 18 to 34, they're taking mobile photos of a specific item in a store so they can buy it online when they get home. So there's the photo influence in terms of texting and sharing information. And they're basically using visual cues, essentially.
How are retailers supposed to really understand what's going to motivate a shopper now that there are so many different ways and so many different paths to the purchase?
Retailers need to participate. They need to become advocates for the shopper. Right now, they're basically kind of the adversary of the shopper in many cases, where they're trying to sell what they want to sell, as opposed to having a consumer help them buy what they're looking to buy. And once they get over that mindset, they really can do really well. And that's what mobile is going to cause them to do.
Another great episode right there, a Mobile Minute from Chuck Martin. If you are interested in subscribing to that, you can just go to untether.tv and click on one of the Mobile Minutes, and you can subscribe just to everyone. They come 5 days a week. I don't know. That's value. 5 days a week for free. They're 2 minutes at the most.
Yeah, you should do it. Everybody should be subscribing to that.
Everybody. All nuggets, 7 of you.
Nuggets of glory.
Yes. Very quick to digest.
Right there. Yes.
So, yeah, we appreciate Chuck doing this and letting us use these clips on This Week in Location-Based Marketing. All right. That was just the preamble for the show. So if you've already found value, don't turn it off. You get 6 great stories that are coming up right now. The first here, we're going to kick it off. I know Lawrence. I interviewed Lawrence like years ago, maybe 3 years ago for Untether.tv, back when DoubleDutch was a completely different company. And since then, I think they've done literally, and I don't use pivot in a light term, but I think they've done like 3 pivots since then, and they've just raised a ton of money.
Yeah, they just raised $10 million. It's a Series C for them, coming from Byron Dieter, who's part of Bessemer Ventures. I'm not sure if any of the previous guys in the A and B rounds participated in this, but $10 million is a lot of money. And the key to this transaction is that DoubleDutch. One of the things I've always appreciated about DoubleDutch, and Lawrence is just a phenomenal guy. I've met him quite a few times, at events, and we chatted, about things. And what I've always liked about them is their laser focus on, the B2B applications of location. So, tying in with, Salesforce and things like that, along the way, and not focusing on, the consumer marketing stuff that everybody else was chasing. So what's interesting here is they kind of have two products going on here, up until this funding comes in. So they have something called the Hive, which is a Salesforce-dependent application. It's been running for a while, and pretty good user base on that. Some happy customers on that kind of thing that are paying for it. But as part of this transaction, they decided to shut that down completely and focus on the core business, which is building B2B event-based management stuff.
That's huge, really, simply because what we talk about quite often is building your own IP and not being so reliant on somebody else's technology or somebody else's data or somebody else's intellectual property. And here's somebody, Lawrence, doing just that and focusing on where the value accrues faster, right? And in their own stuff, in their own platform. Yeah,
the worst thing that can happen to you is you have a platform that's completely reliant on Salesforce, like Hive is, and Salesforce either says, look, hey, we can do that better, we'll build our own and just kill you and dwarf you. Exactly. Or they cut you off, they just shut down the APIs and say, no, you're done, like Twitter's done, like LinkedIn's done, and others have done, and you're finished, right? So either way, this, to me, is a super smart decision to say, look, we're not going to be dependent on somebody else, we're going to build our own IP, and we're going to make sure that we have something that we own that's valuable, and the investors, can take some, certainty in.
Yes. Well, DoubleDutch, if you go to doubledutch.me, you'll find some more information about what these guys are doing. $10 million. I'm going to get Lawrence back on because the last time we talked about, it's been 3 years, and it's time to get him on as a guest. So, Lawrence, if you're listening to this, I'm coming for you. I'm going to get you.
There you go.
All right. Congratulations, guys. That's great. That's great. Second story here is, on a day like today, in Ottawa today, it was 23 degrees, 24 degrees, nice fall day, crisp in the morning, hot during the day. Could I ever use a good old Stella? And boy, oh boy, am I ever glad? Hey, there's an app for that. I know you would be surprised if there wasn't. But here is something that they've created called, Le Bar Guide. Which is a Stella branded application that uses location and augmented reality to do a bunch of things. But the first, of course, is to find a bar where you are or around you that is selling Stella. And then there's a whole bunch of other things if you want to get a cab and those kind of things. But I think the big thing here is that if you're a Stella lover, boy, this is the app for you. I'm going to roll a video here. We're going to come back and have a discussion about this. So this is Stella's Le Bar Guide.
As a Stella Artois beer connoisseur, you're gonna love this. the new LeBar Guide augmented reality iPhone app. Just tap the golden chalice to begin. Instantly, it locks onto your location. You can view bars close to you, get directions, see recent locations, grab a taxi, or even search by zip code. Just click on Bars Near Me. The augmented reality feature pops up in your view. You'll see markers indicating the bars that serve Stella Artois, as well as distances. It appears there are tons of bars serving Stella Artois in the area. Or switch to the list view. Here you can get bar info, ratings, reviews. What if you're out of the country and want an ice cold Stella Artois? No problem. Just choose the country you're in, and before you can say Liechtenstein, a list of places that serve.
You know, I like this. I like the concept. I love that they're going out and doing this with augmented reality. I love that they're putting a location onto it. It's just like that. It's just a Stella app.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's too limiting for me to be able to use it. And I think that they had this great idea to do an augmented reality play and they find a bar that sells Stella, and I like that idea. But then it seems like they just started adding features in it to see if they could get people to use it, like find a cab and do all that kind of stuff. And so this kind of stuff, not so sold on this. And this is one of these apps that, while I like Stella, I'm probably not going to download that ever.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would do it either. I think there's two things that I'm concerned about with this. The first is that, to what we just said about, Lawrence's company, DoubleDutch, this is pulling data in from Foursquare and Yelp and all these other third-party services to help the users of this app figure out, where these bars are, from a location perspective. So they're relying on that, that third-party data, which you sort of have to do when you're Stella because you don't have your own, location database.
Which is crazy to me.
So I get that. And so I think there's not enough emphasis here for me on actually creating your own content in here. So the one thing that's in here that I saw, and I'm sure you can take photos of drinking your Stella and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure. But the one thing that jumped out at me here is they have a rating system. So you can actually verify whether the bartender at the bar that you're at has actually poured the Stella properly with the 9-step process that they have for how you should be pouring Stella.
Yeah.
So so that's generating their own content in the app, but is that enough? Like, I don't think so, right? So that's one of my concerns about this. But I love when beer companies jump on this stuff and say, hey, we're ready to go, and we want to make we want to engage with our fans, and we want to help them consume more Stella.
Well, I mean, I love
it's a great beer. I mean, who wouldn't want it?
I love my Stella, but it's exactly. It's too limiting. It's too limiting. But maybe I don't even know what the 9 steps are to pour a good Stella, and I don't really give a damn as long as it tastes good. It's not flat, and it's cold, right?
Yeah, but Rob, if you pour it right, the taste is going to be there.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, I know,
right?
but I'm often not
That's
sitting in front of the bar.
Like, have you seen these Stella commercials that are running lately with the crafting that goes into that glass or the chalice or whatever they call it, and all of that, right? I mean, that's the Stella thing, right? And it's got to be poured properly. So,
but that's
part of this is for the super Stella drinker who is like addicted to the brand and wears the T-shirt and the hat and has steals the chalices from the bars and brings them home. That's who this is for.
Drinks
which
alone.
Is probably 1/100% of the population.
Well, here's this is the biggest challenge, I think, based on all of this conversation, and I just came up with this spur of the moment, right? Because that's how we do these things. Is that I think the biggest challenge is that Stella is trying to craft a brand around craft, right? Around the process and the richness and the taste and the way that you have to pour it. And then they put a piece of shit app out that is not even their own data, that isn't their own stuff, that doesn't really have that kind of craft that goes into their beer and the way you pour a beer. If they pay attention to the 9 steps of pouring a beer that make the beer taste good, this app pales in comparison to that. And I think that there's a disconnect between the brand Stella and the app.
Comment. I completely agree.
And just calling it LeBar Guide, again, rubs me the wrong way. All of a sudden, now I'm like, so they've used location and augmented reality, but they've done the brand a disservice. And this is a perfect example of what the power that mobile has and how quickly, look, in the span of 3 minutes, how it can turn on you as a brand. And now I'm angry that Stella put their name to this. Damn.
Yeah. All right.
So if you're interested in that, it's called LeBar Guide.
You know what? I'm still going to drink it.
Oh, yeah. My mouth is watering right now. I'm going to take a break.
Love that beer.
Yeah.
So I was at an event yesterday, here in Toronto, speaking at an event, it's an interior design and store design show. And at the end of the day, they have like, the networking stuff, and they start serving the wine and the beer. And I go up there, and there's two choices of beer, and I'm like, Corona,
oh yeah,
and Molson X. I'm like, what? I've never seen Molson X at any corporate event anywhere in my life in Canada. Like, who serves Molson X? And I'm like, I drank that when I was, 19.
Younger. Yes.
Yeah, and 50.
When you didn't know what a real beer tastes like. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but I mean, like,
Molson X.
So, anyways,
Corona.
But yeah, Stella's a great beer, man. Just gotta have a better app.
Stop. My mouth is water. You need that beer. It's Friday.
All right.
On to the third story before I actually, I need to race out and grab one. So WordLogic Reach, the launch of WordLogic Reach. This sounds interesting, Aziz.
Yeah, I like this. I think this is coming out of Canada, out of Vancouver, from what I can tell. And this is a company that basically builds technologies and basically racks up the patents and then tries to find ways to monetize these things.
Love it.
It's a good business to be in if you can make it work. So what they've developed, which is really interesting, is they've developed a method for keystroke tracking on a mobile device. So they can infer contextual content and intent and a bunch of things and location and all of that. So the idea being is that you don't have to just go, you don't have to launch a Google search engine or a map or whatever based on what you're just keying in on things. They can automatically pop up what they think you're looking for. So kind of like predictive response based on keystroke analysis. And so they own all these patents around this kind of stuff. It's really cool. And so all about location as well. So like, you're typing in stuff and based on that, it knows where the device is, it knows what you're typing in, and it's surfacing location-based content on that basis. So, and all in a nice, interesting, anonymous way. So they're not tracking you, they're just tracking what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
And trying to put relevance around it. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It is pretty neat. And so they're trying to license this to a bunch of carriers and the device makers and all that.
What do you think would be a good application of something like this? Who do you think would want something like this?
I think this is an Apple thing.
Oh, like an enhancement to Siri kind of thing?
Yeah, I think this is an Apple kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
WordLogic.
Or, or Microsoft will just, they don't have a Siri, so, they need something.
They absolutely need something.
Nokia. So they need something.
They got Nokia, no Siri though.
Yeah, but for me, it's a device, manufacturer play.
Yeah, embedded on device. Yeah. Really neat. So if you're interested in that, go to wordlogic.com and then you'll find the Reach as an option under the products. Wicked.
Yeah.
All right, 3 stories down. I want to introduce our guest. His name is Cree Lawson. He's the founder and CEO of a company called Arrivalist. That's ARRIVALIST.com. They actually came up and did a really high-level approach on location and marketing based on your location. And they created something called attribution analytics, which is basically who gets credit or what gets credit for bringing a tourist into a tourist location. They've helped the Atlantic City Convention and Visitors Authority right after Hurricane Sandy to actually help, bring tourists back and not just bring tourists back, but assess where tourists were coming from and assess their marketing from across the United States about what was impacting who coming in there. There's another piece of this technology which is fascinating, is that they have a piece of technology that it's called Connected Traveler Ads, which basically delivers different ad experiences through ad networks, obviously, to tourists versus natives, right? So you don't want to waste your money on the natives if you're trying to draw tourists. But this was a fascinating episode that will be live in a couple of weeks on Untether.tv. But this is a little clip of him talking about the impact, the importance of location in your marketing mix.
Awesome, and the implications for tourism and the hotel industry, and I mean so many great places you can use that.
Well, it's amazing technology. It's so simple. And I kept on asking him, I said, surely other people have done this. And he's like, that's what we were like. So it's a patent technology. It's patented.
Yeah.
This whole concept around geo-targeting based on whether you're a tourist or a native. So this is just a small clip. And if you're fascinated by this, you'll be fascinated by the entire episode, which will be up in a couple of weeks. Here's Cree Lawson, the founder and CEO of Arrivalist, right now. How is Arrivalist helping companies drive foot traffic into their spots, or can we do that?
The quick answer is yes. And
yes.
As usual, we're not taking a traditional approach
Good.
To answering this. I think everybody else starts street corner and cash and goes street corner and credit cards and goes upward. We're looking at this from marketplace and driving downward. So our approach to this, I would like to say, is solely our vision, but it's not. So we're talking to someone like Atlantic City. Atlantic City has two objectives. If I summarize them as getting people to Atlantic City, encouraging those people to spend with local merchants.
Right.
Because travelers in market spend more than $1,000 per visit to Atlantic City. So they fulfill those two goals. And it was Atlantic City who came to us and said, can you deliver a message to someone who's in our market but not from our market? That was the $1 million question. How do you tell? Because they're currently buying ads in the tourist district. And in the tourist district, you get a lot of people, but there's still 90% locals.
Right.
So it's 90% wasted ads. So we built our technology, modified it to meet Atlantic City's needs and a few others, to deliver messages to people based on the market they're in, but not the market they're from. And we call these connected traveler ads.
How do you do that without giving away your patents in the back end? But you know, because when I come from Canada, maybe there's a signature on my phone, but you know, I just log onto the AT&T network, and now I'm part of America.
Right.
Just paying a whole lot more money for my connectivity.
That's right. So we use an anonymous location profile, and we can tell if you've been exposed to Atlantic City ad and you arrive in Atlantic City. That's no problem. We know.
And the ads will appear on either Atlantic City's website or other websites that they're supplying banner ads for. Is that all it takes?
In many cases, we can deliver ads to any website that the user is accessing on mobile web while they're in market.
Okay.
And it's been really interesting to see which websites people utilize while they're traveling.
Is that a whole different story, right?
Yeah, it's a whole different story.
The inhibitions fly out the window at that point, right? We're on vacation.
No, I've actually been depressed by how many video game websites people visit while traveling.
Wow.
Bad habits die hard.
But that's not what I was expecting. Anyway, it's better.
This entire thing has been data that's not what you're expecting. But for Atlantic City, in credit to them, they said, once a user's here, we want to drive them to our customers, and we want to drive them to our not-for-profit attractions. So they bring out something like Lucy the Elephant, which is very popular with Europeans, less popular among domestic travelers. But Lucy, the original pink elephant, they ran ads for it. And it's a low cost of admission. It's not expensive to get in, but it's the type of thing that if you're walking by, you might say, oh, I'd like to see that. So we developed connected traveler ads and ran them for Lucy the Elephant in Atlantic City, targeting people both on laptops and on business center machines when they log in, and on the mobile device.
And what were you targeting? Websites? I mean, what exactly were you putting these ads into?
Mobile web.
Mobile web, and just like you were just spreading the money across a bunch of mobile websites, or was it Atlantic City website? I mean,
we were targeting customers that we knew were in Atlantic City but did not live in Atlantic City,
and just through other ad networks, right?
Through data-driven exchanges, actually.
Okay.
Mobile ad networks.
Mobile ad networks, yeah.
Mobile ad exchanges.
Yep.
And we've seen upwards 1.5% and upwards click-through rate on mobile devices when we deliver an ad within a set proximity of, say, Lucy the Elephant. She's the example I'll use. But Atlantic City pulled in like 8 partners, and anecdotally we're hearing that the partners had more coupon redemptions as a result of these ads being delivered in market. And so we designed this as kind of a B2B enterprise, but consumers seem to be reacting to these local ads. And you know, there's some and some consumer data to suggest that while traveling, consumers are more likely to try something new, more open to the power of suggestion.
That is Cree Lawson, the founder and CEO of Arrivalist. If you're interested, go to arrivalist.com and come back to untethered.tv in a couple of weeks, or sign up for my mailing list and you'll get this in your inbox when the entire episode is live. That's a sneak preview. I actually recorded that the same day because I'm wearing the same shirt. Yeah, exactly. So thanks, Cree, for doing that. I appreciate you coming on and letting us use that clip. And if you're listening, hi, Cree. I really had an amazing time with the conversation this afternoon. So, Cree Lawson. Back at her.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, our next story is about our good friends over at Millennial Media. We seem to be talking about these guys quite often lately because they're busy. They acquired JumpTap a while ago and got a whole bunch of networks through that. But this story I'm really excited about because you know how much I love analytics and data and how all those things come together. And the agencies and the media buyers and the brands that I work with, they're hungry for more metrics and for more data around, proving that location is working. And so Millennial this week announced that they've partnered with Placed and Neustar. And Placed we just talked about like a couple of weeks ago,
Yep.
I think, right?
Yep.
And Neustar, I don't think we've talked about them for a while. But anyways, so they're rolling out, Millennial's rolling out a new set of analytics tools. It's all about kind of proving the exposure from a mobile campaign, and what does it actually result in offline shopping, and trying to make that connectivity. Not unlike what we saw with PlaceIQ and their PBR experiments in some respect, but in this case they're working with Placed and Neustar to achieve this. So on the Place side, it's their Place has a thing that we talked about called the attribution platform. And they've got this panel out there that they've built, like 100,000 people who are opted-in users, and they're tracking the behavior of those people. So they're taking that panel and combining it with the Millennial Media mobile piece to, make those things come together. And then on the Neustar side, it's a little bit different. So in this case, it's Neustar is helping them then not only see did somebody actually go to the store after they saw the mobile ad, but what was the actual transaction value? So Neustar provides credit card spend at the retail outlet resulting from the mobile campaign. So when you tie all those things together, now we're starting to get a nice little ecosystem around being able to properly measure what's going on, from this perspective. So and Neustar's got like 119 million people are in the U.S. database, so they got a lot of data.
See, now you're starting to get a bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
From digital into real and tangible data that comes from this can be acted upon. And I think that Arrivalist, that's their whole thing as well, is to try to bring the real world impact of advertising and marketing and branding into dollar figure. And I think that's this. We're getting there, man. Slowly.
We are getting there. Yeah. So, and this is part of the stuff we'll be talking about at the New York event as well. PlaceIQ will be there. The Millennial guys, I think, will show up as well. So, I think we'll have some good discussion around, the need for better metrics and measurement and performance analysis around this stuff. So, great stuff here from Millennial.
It's funny because this is a precursor to everything, right? Like when you find a Cree said it very well in this interview this episode that I did with him, is that he talked about this challenge out there, which is most people are fighting a battle that isn't worth fighting, right? So you see all these guys that are in the payment space, for example, right? All they're interested in is the interest rate or the little percentage that they get per transaction, right? And if you ask the average consumer, and we talk about this all the time, they're not interested at all in replacing cash or their payment system. It requires a behavioral change that I'm not willing to do at this point. And then he said, if you take a step back, which I think that this is what Millennial Media has been doing lately, is that you take a step back and you realize what the real pain is, what the real challenge is. And it's not so much the payment process, because we got that nailed right now.
Yeah.
It's the stupid line, right?
Yes.
So the real pain in a Starbucks isn't that I have to pay. Sometimes it is with the prices. But the big thing is the line. And I think that's what Millennial Media is realizing. If you take a step back and you survey the land, you'll know exactly where you want to fit, and you'll be able to bring the pieces in that solve the problem before you have to go and fight that payments battle. And you get kind of everybody huddles around like kids at a soccer field around one idea, and it's the guys like Millennial, it's the guys like Arrivalist that think a little bit over here that change the game. And that's what I love about it. So smart.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Not so awesome stuff.
Yeah, not so awesome stuff. Our fifth story. So this is a company called Joingo Places, or a service called Joingo Places, and they call this. It's a location-based service, and I just have to read the title of the press release, and you will know exactly where this story is about to go. And it's probably a good thing that we're under a time constraint, or else we would be able to rail on this all day. The press release title is "One Giant Leap for Location-Based Services."
Yeah.
So these guys release a in-venue marketing platform that does geofencing and allows you to get this target consumers when they arrive in a store or a location or leave one.
It's unheard of.
Freaking revolutionary.
It's a revolution. It's unheard of, man.
So I'm going to transport myself back to 2007. And that will blow my mind. But unfortunately, we're in 2013, and 700,000 other companies are doing this right now and have been doing it for years.
Like even just within our own ecosystem, PLDMA, I mean, we got Point Inside and, Eye Inside and Indoors in Austria and, Indoor Atlas and all these guys doing indoor location, all doing, this is not a new business all of a sudden. Like this is something, that's been going on for, 3-4 years in many respects. There's different ways to do it. A couple things that really blow me away with this, not just even the marketing hyperbole, which is just crazy.
It's great.
One
giant leap.
Giant leap. But they talk about they're partnering with major wireless network technology providers to make this happen. So they don't even have their own stuff that they're putting in these environments. Right, they're partnering with others, relying on third party yet again. We talked about that enough today to make this work. And they create, so you create geofences and the usual stuff. We've seen this story before. Well, I'm trying to figure out what's interesting and what's unique about this, and I can't find anything in here other than there was one line in the press release which I will call out just to give them a little ounce of credit. They said that you can target real-time customers who are within a specific venue about events or offers, or even create virtual billboards in high traffic areas that prompt a specific customer action.
Yeah.
Now that is, cool. That is interesting. So maybe we can focus the business on that and not trying to compete with the 50 other indoor location companies that are already working with Macy's and Best Buy and Sears and McDonald's and Starbucks and everybody else on the planet.
Yes.
You're way too late to the game for that, boys.
Far too late unless it's a niche play, and at this point in life, you might as well just turn away from this line of business just right now. And we talk geofencing is cluttered, and you know what? That's the last thing on the planet that anybody wants is more clutter in this space. And here's a perfect example of the opposite of what I was talking about Cree doing, right? Is that, this is not thinking about, filling an opportunity. This is about just following what the latest trend is. And Joingo Places, we're disappointed. Yeah.
Now, if there's some kind of secret sauce here, and I'm going to call it, what's his name here?
Yeah.
Giacomo Lamy, who's the Director of Product Management quoted in this press release. If there's something in here that Rob and I are missing, and there's some patented technology that you didn't mention in the press release, or it's really about that handoff from outdoor geofence to indoor geofence, which I'm trying to see that in here. It's sort of said, but it's not. I'm not. Then please correct us and let us know. We're happy to take criticism as much as the next guy. So come on the show, defend yourself, let us know. But from what I can tell here, this is just another Me Too, and you're way too late to the game.
And it would take courage to actually come out here, and the courage to, but I think that for their defense, the courage to put out a title of a press release that says one giant leap for location-based services, and then to follow it up with Joingo Places uses in-venue marketing to take mobile engagement into the future. Yeah. You got to have courage. So
awesome, man. Awesome. So, what I don't know where these guys are based. I think it says San Jose and Las Vegas. So whoever's in San Jose, one suggestion to you guys, just from me to you, and this is just positive feedback. There's a conference October the 8th in San Francisco called Place. Greg Sterling and his whole crew and Opus Research and all those guys are running an entire one-day conference just on indoor location, and all the major players in the industry will be there. Find yourself a ticket to that event and see what's actually going on in the industry.
Yes,
that's all I got to say. October the 8th in San Francisco. If you can't find it, contact me. I'll tell you where it is.
And it'll be just
I'll be there, by the way. So I'm happy to meet you in person.
And and then at that point you will just hang your head down and realize, it's time to niche, buddy. It's time to niche. All right. Well, that's so Joingo. We got a little rant out of there. It's fine.
Sorry.
One giant leap.
One rant every week.
Yeah,
at least.
One giant leap for location-based services. I admire.
We're not getting paid enough to be all happy and chipper on the
show. No. And it's Friday night. I haven't had my Stella yet.
Exactly.
All right. Last story before we jump into the resource.
Tell you what, Rob. When I'm in Ottawa next week, I'll have a Stella with you.
We'll have a breakfast Stella.
Breakfast Stella. I'm done.
Sounds good.
It's in.
All right, and it's probably going to be minus 10 by the time you get here next week. So
it's fine.
Yeah.
Tastes better cold. When it's really super cold.
Really super cold. Yeah. All right, our sixth story. This is, I rail about the Gap. I don't shop at the Gap, but I sign up for the mailing list because they have these stupid sales every single day. It's like 25% off, 30% off. I'm pretty sure that if I combine them all the emails that I get from the Gap company, I would actually, they'd be paying me to wear their clothes. Between Old Navy, the Gap, and Banana Republic. And they have terrible segmentation and targeting in their emails. I'm getting like dress emails, even though I've specified based on their direction that I'm a male and I'm not interested in dresses. I still get the summer dress and the collages and everything like that. So I have very little faith in Gap marketing altogether, very little faith in the retail industry, and they've done such a total disservice to themselves by just discounting the crap out of everything at all time. Anybody who pays, here's a hint, anybody who pays full price at a Gap, an Old Navy, or a Banana Republic is a stooge because they give it away. But here they are talking about, this is their their fall in blue or blue in fall campaign on three screens, back to blue. And they're so noisy, the Gap. It's borderline spam. And so I'm so skeptical of their ability to market to begin with. So defend or talk about what they're doing here with all, they're targeting all three screens.
Yeah. So for me, this is a good thing. This is
good.
Because at the end of the day, as you know, we talk about all day about the need to look at integrated media and not just focusing on only mobile or only this or only that. So the fact that they're combining mobile with television, with Twitter, and doing that all in an integrated view around this campaign, number one, that's a plus. Yep. Okay.
No argument so far.
Yeah, so the fun piece of this is that we were talking about before the show today is this campaign is focused on the music is what this is all about in terms of how they're attracting the audience to this content, and they've basically gone out and they've gotten George Harrison's son and Billy Joel's daughter to perform their parents' music on these commercials. Which is cool. That's bringing old music back to life again. With the youth delivering it. So I like that. That's cool. Nothing from Springsteen's kid, but nothing I could do about that. I had no influence on this, Rob. So, anyways, so what I don't like about this is it's phenomenal that they're tying the media together and they're bringing these three screens together. But they're not tracking, or at least it's not apparent to me from this, that they're actually tracking the location elements of where people are engaging with these things, with these different forms of media, and then using that to then drive them into the closest stores near them in a response to this. So they're doing promoted tweets and they're running 2 spots or launching first on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. But that's great. So if somebody sees the thing on Twitter and clicks on it and watches that content, is that the end of the experience? Or, where's the integration with Millennial Media or Place IQ stuff to say, okay, we saw that and now they actually went to the store, right? That's the part that I wish was part of this, because when we see that, that's when we can tie it into, the mobile piece that actually resulted in traffic to the store, or the TV piece resulted in traffic to the store, because even these mass medias can be very one-to-one location-based if we use the tools that are available to us, and that's not apparently happening here.
No, and it just shows you the mentality, I think, of the marketing officer. So this is here's a quote from Seth Farbman, who's the Gap's global CMO, and this kind of really explains how Gap thinks of these mediums as silos, right?
Yes.
Not integrated. He says, and this might be a long one, he says, the way people get their information and entertainment has materially and permanently changed. Yes. Right? We all agree with that.
Yes.
But here's where it derails. It says, it's everywhere every minute of the day. While TV still reaches many people at the same time, it's the power of social conversations that turn amazing video content from a commercial into an event. Yes. By leveraging a platform like Twitter, we're able to broaden and deepen the emotional power of Back to Blue long after the spots have stopped airing on the networks. This is where it gets into the whole broadcast mentality. So what he says as well in this article is that it's about broadcasting to places that the ads are not playing, right? So there's no reinforcement. All he's trying to do is force the content down.
Yeah, so he's just trying to widen the reach here and hit more people with the message and expose more people to this content, as they can, without any regard for what is the response, where are these people coming from, how do we drive them in the store, where's the conversion to sale, and that's my concern with this. I love that they're going cross media. I love that they're thinking about how do we deliver the same message consistently across the three channels. Yep. That's awesome. Right, and the campaign's awesome, and bringing old music to life from our generation into today's generation is awesome. But come on, guys, like where is the the targeted response and analytics piece that we just talked about with Millennial and Place IQ?
But it's so prevalent across all of the way that the Gap markets, and that was my rant at the beginning about their email campaign. Is that what I open and what I don't open. You can get me in the store if you just spend a little bit of time segmenting me properly and then monitoring what I'm doing with the emails and what I don't open versus what I open. And the idea that three screens means not three separate screens. It means to reinforce it across three screens. It doesn't mean, oh, great, Twitter in the UK because we're not going to run the ads there. No, it means run the ads, run Twitter, run the campaigns in the spots that you're going to do it. Yeah. And don't be lazy, and that's what this means.
And that's why I like stuff like, okay, you saw the thing on TV, now let's Shazam that, right? Yeah. And let's create a call to action on mobile that moves it from TV to the mobile device, that moves you from your living room to the store. All that kind of stuff, right? That's the part here that I think is missing is just the trackability of, can we actually get people in the store and are we seeing results from this? But
and what else is
it's just about brand? It's about brand.
Yeah, and what the biggest piece also that they could be doing is that why aren't they selling the music of the kids for a cause or charity or Gap Red or whatever that is, right? So if they tied all that into a social cause, all of a sudden this is a massive thing.
It's huge. Yeah. Don't worry, Glee will be doing it shortly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, last piece of business. Those are the 6 stories. Obviously, we covered a lot. We had our guest. We had our app of the week. We had Chuck Martin in the Mobile Minute. And now this resource. I tend to believe that location goes beyond the consumer and the business and into public safety. And I think that this is exactly what this is about.
Yeah, I came across this article this week, and I couldn't resist to kind of throw it out there as just a great read on, something completely different than marketing applications around location. Public safety is huge, right? And we're seeing, some of the carriers have family tracking services, so you can know where your kids are, or where your wife is, or all that kind of stuff. But public safety, or E911 and emergency response, and helping the responders get to where you are when you need them, like urgently. These kinds of things are really, really important, and they're fantastic use cases around this. And so just a good read that kind of summarizes for me what the opportunity is here, and some of the services that are out there, and the approach to what's available in the market today.
Yeah, and this is very important. I think that the missing key here is just consistency and reliance, right? Cellular service is intermittent, and the technology around location isn't as precise as it needs to be, but it's emerging, and I think that this is something that's so important, especially for public safety. And we had a scary incident at my kids' school just yesterday, where a man walked into the school, and I'm in Ottawa, right? And Ottawa is a safe city. I mean, we have 6 murders a year, and they're accidental, right? They're apologetical. Everybody apologizes, but we have 6 murders a year in Ottawa, and my kids' school has 400 students. It's a tiny little school. Some guy walked in there with a replica gun. It was a pellet gun, and walked into the office, pulled out the gun, pulled the alarm, scared the crap out of every student and every teacher in it, and basically put the school under lockdown. Canceled the day, canceled the night, and then parents are freaked out. And all this kind of stuff. The response rate is great, but you got 400 kids running out of the building at that moment, and
they're just freaking out, right? And thank goodness. I mean, it's sad to me, like in this day and age, and my kid's school is the same. It's about the same size. There's like 500 kids, I think, there.
Small school.
500-600 kids. But it's sad that, when we grew up, we didn't have to worry about this stuff, right? Like we just, we roamed the streets. Our parents knew, you could trust people in the neighborhood. Like it was fine, right? Yeah. But now, you go to these schools and they've got training for these kids on what to do in these situations, because it's just happening all the time. It's ridiculous, that they have to be prepared for this stuff. We never even have to give a second thought to. It's worrisome to me. But here comes location-based services. Trying to get in there and be of value, to us in helping identify. I mean, if there was some stampede going on at the school right now and kids were lost all over the place, I mean, wouldn't it be great to know where your kid was? Wouldn't it be great to have a StickNFind on your kid's backpack?
I'm gonna sew one in there right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put one on my kid's backpacks right now. I mean, how much is it?
$49 for two? Yeah.
Oh, I'm done. It's done.
Yeah, and I'll know exactly where my kids are. Well, and here's a perfect example of what happens is that while this was going on with the school, Rogers, who's my provider, not only for my cellular service and my data, but also my home phone and my cable and my home internet and everything like that, it was down at the exact moment. So that is the first number that the school calls when they have this robocall system that when something like this happens, they have this process, and it couldn't get through. So what does a parent do? So this is where there's got to be some kind of service like this that enables this, so that the parent knows. It took me an hour and 15 minutes to find out that this was going down, and that's the most frightening thing out of them all, is that you've got kids that are scared and you're not there with them. So this is a real great application of it. Unfortunately, there's probably no money in it right at the front end, but the civil service that it does and the peace of mind that it does, we certainly got to find a way to turn these into businesses so that we can do this.
And the nice thing about this kind of stuff is it works indoor and outdoor. The guys from Indoors, INDOO.RS out of Austria. I was with those guys at a German event a few weeks ago, and they were telling me one of their big successes has been doing public safety indoor inside of buildings, because when you're in some tower somewhere, it's hard to know what floor are they on, where are they exactly, how do we get people there fast, and if you can do those kinds of things without having to go through the cellular networks or whatever, I think you can add a lot of value. So anyways, great
Very
article.
Cool. Great story. Yeah.
Awesome.
Obviously a controversial event. All of these, it's unfortunate, as you said, that we have to rely on these kind of things, but location seems to me like the logical space to be. So we'll hit this up. This will be under on the LBMA.
Yeah, we'll have it under the research or resource section there.
Okay, and of course you can go down tether.tv. This is episode number 149, and you'll see a direct link to that article. I saw it on mobilitytechzone.com. So
yes.
Yeah, it's great resource, great show, man.
Awesome.
Cruising through it.
Yeah, I stayed awake for the whole thing.
Nice. Yes, with your travel schedule, I don't know how you do it, man. I just, I don't get it. I'm going to be in Cincinnati talking at an event this week, Monday, on being an entrepreneur, what it's like to be an entrepreneur, which just means you just don't sleep, and which is pretty much it. But it's awesome. I get to spend some time with Andrew Warner, who is from Mixergy.com, who's the inspiration for Untether.tv. Without Andrew, there would be no Untether, and there would be no This Week in Location-Based Marketing. So he is the epicenter for this, and I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
And I'm going to be speaking at Android TO on the 17th of October in Toronto.
Yes.
So if you can make it out for that, would be great.
I will try and be there, and I will see you in Ottawa next week as well before I head off to New York. So we're looking forward to catching up in person. So yeah.
But we will be back at the end of next week with episode number 150. That's 150, as they say in the French land.
150.
150. We will bring you episode number 150, which is 6 episodes short of our 3rd anniversary episode, which is crazy.
Awesome.
We'll be back. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next week for the next episode of This Week in Location-Based Marketing. Safe, soft travels this week.
Cheers. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.